Thank you very much for watching The Tonight Show, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm Jimmy Fallon. Let's get to the news and jokes. Well, guys, Bob Woodward has a new book coming out about the president, and one story is making major headlines today. It turns out Trump knew way back in early February how bad the coronavirus was, but he continued to downplay it to the American people. And Woodward's got it all on tape because Trump let him record their conversations. Check this out. Here's Trump in mid-March.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
Yeah. I remember Americans not panicking when they spent thousands for a roll of toilet paper on eBay. Seriously, you didn't want to create a panic. For the last 6 months, I've been opening doorknobs with my knees. How could he downplay this? He's treated the pandemic like those flash flood alerts on your phone. Like, I'm sure it's nothing. Never heard this phone make that sound before, though. Yeah, it's a catastrophic story for Trump that threatens to end his presidency, or as he calls it, Wednesday. These tapes are insane. Here's Trump talking about the virus in early February. Listen to this.
It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. You know, people don't realize we lose 25,000, 30,000 people a year here. Who would ever think that, right? This is more deadly. This is 5 per... this is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%. So this is deadly stuff.
Up until then, Trump thought deadly stuff was a brand of Oreos. Meanwhile, Trump heard the recording and was like, I never met that guy. I don't know who he is. Seriously, these tapes are really bad. Trump's re-election prospects are sinking faster than a boat at a MAGA rally. I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical. I mean, before I pass judgment, I should read the other 40 Trump books that came out this week. And despite Trump saying as recently as last month that kids are almost immune from the virus, it turns out he knew that wasn't the truth all the way back in March. Check out this clip.
Now it's turning out it's not just old people, Bob. Just today and yesterday, some startling facts came out. It's not just older
exactly.
young people, to plenty of young people.
I'd say at this point, the dude needs to give himself some hush money. Is he serious? He knew all that and still fought for schools to reopen? Even Vladimir Putin was like, not cool, dude, not cool. Now, despite what the numerous tell-all books say about him, Trump received a pretty surprising nomination today.
President Trump has been nominated for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. Here's how. A far-right Norwegian lawmaker is telling news outlets he submitted the president's name to the committee for the president's work on that agreement between Israel and the UAE.
In response, Trump was like, how do you say vote twice in Norwegian? Vodka tug? Yeah, Trump thinks he's getting the Peace Prize for uniting Americans and the coronavirus. Meanwhile, Trump is focused on the upcoming election, and last night he delivered a campaign speech in North Carolina. At one point, he mentioned Kamala Harris, and here's what he had to say about her.
You know why people don't like her? Nobody likes her. She could never be the first woman president. She could never be. That would be an insult to our country.
Mike Pence was like, hey, cool, man. Some of us has to debate her next month. I wonder what Trump thinks is so insulting about Kamala Harris. I feel like the answer is right in front of me. Yeah. Trump was like, she's so unpopular, her approval rating is barely 20 points higher than mine. Later on in his speech, Trump mentioned something he used to talk about all the time. Check it out.
And you know, Mexico is paying for the wall, just so you understand. But we're going to charge a small fee at the border. You know, the toll booths. We have toll booths. And we're going to get all the money that we spent in the wall will be coming back. So remember I used to say, who's going to pay for it? They'd say, Mexico. Right, that's right.
And then Trump announced a new branch of the military, the toll booth force. They always would say that. I would say, they say who's going to pay? They all would say. That sounds like an interesting idea. Our borders will be protected by a giant wall and that little toll booth arm that goes up and down. No problem. Here's some big entertainment news that caught a lot of people by surprise. Listen to this.
Season 20 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians will be its last. The show has run on E! For the past 14 years, following Kim, Khloe, Kourtney, Kris, and the whole crew as they went about their daily lives.
Wow, it's a tough blow for fans who will now only be able to keep up with the family through Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, tabloids, and the internet. Right now, all the executives at the E! Network are like, so how are we going to fill 20 hours a day? Well, guys, as if these aren't scary enough times, listen to what happened earlier today in New Jersey.
A magnitude 3.1 earthquake reported in New Jersey. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, it was centered near East Freehold.
That's right, there was an earthquake in New Jersey. It was crazy. There were tracksuits thrown everywhere. The entire state looked like every TJ Maxx. It was a pretty decent earthquake. Scientists in Jersey gave it 3 out of 10 O's. Well, here's some interesting news. The U.S. Air Force is testing out a new kind of technology, robot dogs. Check this out. I hope the robot dogs work. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing a lot of Sarah McLachlan robot dog commercials. And finally, a man in Illinois celebrated his 100th birthday in an exciting way. Watch this.
An Illinois man celebrated his 100th birthday by breaking a Wet n Wild world record. Bill Lambert became the world's oldest scuba diver by taking the plunge in Pearl Lake. He says his goal is to stay in shape and break it again when he turns 101.
Actually, it wasn't that hard for him. He'd been carrying around an oxygen tank for years. Yeah, it was an unforgettable day for him, and also the deckhand who had to help him into his wetsuit.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on.